Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. On these early morning talks, early morning, because I'm wide awake. So, you guys see the thumbnail, you see the subject. They're grifting. These people are grifting. It's the corruption for me. It's the corruption. And they understand everything. Every person that you have seen on TV and you have talked to, or talked about or heard about, they're grifting. And they know it. Okay? And they know it. That's the bad part. Okay? The right-wing grift machine is breaking down in real time. Okay? It's real time. And Donald Trump knows it. Okay? The people who spent the last few decades calling folks black lazy, looking into the cameras, telling the world nobody takes accountability, the left wing is demonic, giving us lectures about how good Donald Trump is. He's the chosen one, pushing all these unhinged conspiracies. Now they're all quietly leaving the stage and telling the truth about this presidency and about Donald Trump. Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Thomas Massie, Spencer Pratt, Marjorie Taylor Greene, the rats are frantic. They're abandoning the ship. And I'm standing here on the dock with a flashlight saying, oh, I thought all of the stuff that you were saying was the truth. See, the reason why I know they knew that this president would do what he did is because they abandoned him too quickly. Right out the gate, they abandoned him. They knew what he was. They knew what this whole White House was. Okay? We're going to remember exactly what they said. We're going to ask the real question. Where was this newfound principle when they were cashing the checks that they were getting? Okay? They were all getting big checks. See, this is what a lot of people don't understand. The right wing, the supposed conservative people, they get paid to say the things they say. The left wing doesn't get paid from Congress, doesn't get paid from people from the left wing to say the things that they say. The right wing was exposed for getting paid to say the things that they were saying a couple of years ago. So first on this chopping block is this Candace Owens, the woman who built an empire, multi-million-dollar empire off the back of one single line. She said, black people need to leave the Democratic plantation. And we hear that goofy shit now. We even hear that goofy shit now. Okay? My question would be, where would we be heading to if we left the Democratic plantation? Over to the right wing plantation? The right-wing plantation that has Donald Trump as the leader, that have you all grifting. See, Candace was out here for years telling black folks that they were too stupid to see we were being used, that we only vote Democrat because we're brainwashed and coddled. How exactly is it not being brainwashed on that side when everybody can see that this president is a scammer? Okay? How is it that you're not brainwashed if you're over there? Okay? She would sit on her conservative stage in America, smiling in her little designer dresses, talking about how Democrats are the real racist, while Trump was the absolute best thing to ever happen to black people since Lincoln. By the way, Donald Trump has never done anything for black people. And if he did do anything for black people, he reversed that very quickly. She made a career out of dragging black women, dragging single mothers, tearing down the entire cultural fabric of her own community, all while collecting a massive, big, gigantic bag from traditional white conservative media outlets. Because as I said, you all know the right-wing conservative people, Rogan, Shapiro, Tucker, Candace, they all get money. And they were all getting money before this from the right-wing media, from the right-wing propaganda, or whoever, Trump, whatever. You know, they have a joint phone call. They have a big, gigantic phone call that conservative people get onto, and they all get their talking points from that particular joint phone call once a week, and they all in line with what needs to be said for the right-wing media. That's what they do. Okay? But let's talk about 2026, because the script got flipped. Her script. Suddenly, Candace got all this smoke for the establishment. Now she's concerned. Now she's acting like she's completely above the toxic mess she spent 8-10 years helping to put into play. The second the administration shifted towards aggressive military posturing, specifically launching the U.S. strikes against Iran, Candace didn't just walk away. She launched a scorched earth campaign against her former savior, Donald Trump. She didn't just offer some mild, polite policy disagreement. She went on an international stage and literally branded the president a chronic disappointment and a genocidal maniac, because they understand. This is what y'all don't get. These right-wing grifters understand that Donald Trump is going down. He's going to be gone. He's going to be off the stage, and his policy and everything he stands for is unpopular. Well, the right wing agenda is unpopular anyway. It's unpopular anyway. Everything that they have tried, everything that this president has tried, everything they have tried to put into place is unpopular. So she went on every talk. She went on international platforms saying Donald Trump is a disappointment. Think about the sheer whiplash. She went from organizing Blexit, rallies to demanding that Congress strip the executive branch of its military power. Now she's showing up at international economic forums, sitting down with legacy progressive commentators and delivering these long, dramatic monologues about how the American public is completely broken and exhausted by foreign aid. She's out here claiming the populist movement was never his to define in the first place. You don't get to ride the wave for years of popularity, supposed conservative popularity, get filthy rich off anti-black rhetoric disguised as tough love, and then act like you suddenly grew a conscience because the political calculation shifted. You don't get to pivot and pretend you weren't one of the main architects of this division in this country. The black community remembers you. Candace Owens. We remember that you did the Ku Caucus factor. You were out here doing the raccoon thing. We remember every single time you open your mouth to tear us down for clout and conservative applause. You didn't leave because of principle, Candace Owens. You left because your independent subscription model thrives on being the counterculture outsider and defender of a war. And you know the defending of this war doesn't sell podcasts to conspiratorial audiences. Your grift just evolved. Your grift just got better, honey. We see you, Candace Owens. Specifically, the Black community sees you for what you are. You're an opportunist. I get it. You wanted to make money. I get all that. Okay? But don't come back talking about something else because we don't believe you. Now you have Tucker Carlson. This man was the undisputed king of Fox News fear. Every single night at 8 o'clock, he was sitting behind that desk over there at Fox News with that confused, retard, country hick boy, furrowed brow, telling his massive audience that Black people were coming to replace you. And you still got goofy goofies who think Black people are coming to replace you. That's how you stir racism and hate. He told all you goofy goofies who listen to Fox News, he told y'all that the inner cities were apocalyptic war zones and you had to stay out of those. And some of y'all still believe that. He told y'all that Democrats were intentionally importing immigrants to destroy their heritage, to destroy your heritage. And we still got goofy people to this day who would get in my chat and say, immigrants are here to destroy us. We need to get them out. We need to deport all these people. Joe Biden let all these people in. Yet you probably ain't never even met a fucking immigrant. That's how dumb you sound. He platformed some of the most dangerous white nationalist talking points in modern history. But he did it with that calm, retarded, white hick intellectual stuff that he does very well. I'm just asking questions. He helped turn millions of everyday white Americans into these paranoid, angry, terrified people who genuinely believe their country is being stolen right out from under them. And to this day, we got people who will get in my chat and who will say, those immigrants, there's so many immigrants. You don't even fucking know no immigrants, dummy. How does that even change your life? You don't even know any fucking immigrants. So, this is what Tucker Carlson did. Okay? He made people, millions of people every night from the Fox News soapbox believe that immigrants were coming to get you. Black folks was invading your neighborhood. He made raw race baiting sound like high-level philosophy. To this day, I still can't stand the way he talks. And look at Tucker now. He acts like he's completely above the fray. He acts like, I didn't do nothing. He wants you to view him as some kind of independent, enlightened truth teller broadcasting from his fucking barn. Just a few months ago, Tucker sat down with his brother, Buckley, on his network and delivered this grand, agonizing public confession. He told his audience he was tormented by his past support of Donald Trump. He explicitly apologized for misleading millions of Americans into backing this administration that he now claims betrayed his core principles. He looked right into the camera and said, we are all implicated in this. No, we all ain't implicated in this. We on the left knew this president was a scammer. Y'all, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Ben Shapiro, Joe Rogan, all of them people know Donald Trump was a scammer. They know. They been knew. Tucker, stop. You built your channel. You profited off the division to the tunes of tens of millions of dollars. You sat there every single night stroking the fire, stroking the racism, stroking the same bullshit that this scammer president was stroking. And you poured gasoline on the cultural anxieties of these older white folks, these MAGA goofies, who believed everything you said. And now you want to act shocked that this house is on fire, that our country is being burnt down from the presidency on down. So let's be real about why Tucker Carlson actually jumped ship, shall we? We already know his private text messages from the lawsuits. We know he privately hated Donald Trump passionately while publicly praising him for his ratings, which meant you were doing it for the money. But the real break happened when Tucker started platforming extreme fringe figures like Nick Fuentes, drawing a massive public rebuke from the White House, who blasted Tucker on social media as a low IQ, highly overrated personality. Nick Fuentes is who exposed all of them. Nick Fuentes is the one who exposed them all. When the administration turned on Tucker, Tucker used the escalating war in Iran as his perfect, righteous exit ramp off of the conservative grifter train that was Donald Trump. He gets to play the martyr for peace to insulate his independent media network from the bitter infighting tearing the GOP apart. You aren't a prophet, Tucker Carlson. You're a corporate refugee trying to keep your audience intact. You're a grifter. You're a grifter. Okay? You're a grifter. The next person on the list is Thomas Massie. He was always a little bit different. The quirky libertarian from Kentucky with the glasses who went to MIT and would occasionally vote against the crowd just to prove a point. But let's not get it twisted, shall we? He still stayed in the Republican Party. He still supported the vast majority of the agenda of this scammer president. He was right there in the room when they were trying to overturn legitimate elections. When January 6th came, he was right there in the room. He was right there when they were pushing extreme corporate-friendly policies that hurt working families, to this day. But look at how the tiger eats his own people. Massie forgot the golden rule of modern populist politics. You can break with the platform, but you can never under any circumstances block the money. So when Massie stood up and threatened to vote against the vital government funding bill, the hammer dropped instantly on his ass. The president took to social media with direct decree. He should be primary, and I will lead the charge. That's exactly what Donald Trump said. The political machine didn't blink. They went out, recruited a well-funded, hyper-loyal challenger in Galerian, and ran a campaign on one simple message. The president doesn't need obstacles. He needs backup. And just a few weeks ago, the voters listened to what Donald Trump had to say. The scammer in chief. Thomas Massie, an entrenched incumbent, was decisively wiped out in his own Republican Party, losing 55 to 45. Now that he's been violently thrown out the side of the ship, suddenly Massie is putting on massive distance between himself and the chaos. Now he's doing media tours talking about how the party is controlled by foreign lobbies and billionaires. Massie, you don't get a pass or a badge of courage either. Hey, I give you points for the Epstein files. You were in the building when all of this shit went down. You saw the radicalization happening. You watched the grift expand, and you stayed way longer than you should have because it suited your political needs. You didn't walk away. Massie, you didn't walk away because you saw the light and you got kicked out. And now you're trying to act like a political dissident. You were a grifter too. And you should be kicked to the winds, the far corners of the fucking wind. Spencer Pratt and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Then we get to the real clown. Now we can get to the real clowns of the circus. Let's start with Spencer Pratt. Yeah, the Spencer Pratt that ran for government mayor or the governor of California. The reality TV villain from MTV's The Hills in the mid-2000s. The man who spent his entire adult life chasing fame, camera time, and dollar any way he could possibly get it. Over the last few months, right-wing media became the ultimate retirement home for washed-up D-list celebrities. All you had to do was put on a red hat, record a few TikToks yelling about the Matrix or the deep state, and an entirely new, highly dedicated audience would start funding your lifestyle. See, that's how they get you. That's how grifters get you. So all you got to do is put on a Donald Trump hat. If I wanted to actually get paid for the things that I say, I would put on a Donald Trump's Make America Great Again hat and then start talking about Biden is trash or Obama is trash. And then the fucking money would be pouring in. That's if I wanted to be a grifter like these people are, right? Because that's all it takes. We've heard about person after person after person scamming MAGA, scamming the right wing out of money because they so want to believe that their point of view is correct. They so want to believe that everybody thinks the way they do. This country hasn't drifted to the right. This country is going to be in the center, and it's primarily left center, as far as I can tell, this time of the year or this year because of Donald Trump. Nobody wants to be on the side of Donald Trump. Except you extreme goofy MAGA people, of course. But regular ordinary people don't want to go that far to the right. Okay? But I digress. So over the years, the right-wing media supported this kind of person. But now even Spencer Pratt is out here making content talking about how wild and unhinged the right wing has gotten. Now that he lost the governor's race, let that sink in. When a man who literally faked legal disputes and staged propaganda photos for a living looks at a political movement and says, nah, this is too goofy, this is too fake and too toxic for me. When a person who does that, which is what Spencer Pratt is doing right now, you know the brand is damaged. This Make America Great brand is damaged beyond repair. He is the ultimate grifter, this Spencer Pratt. And even he's saying, y'all too unhinged for me. I can't do you MAGA people. I can't do that. Okay? He realized the unified audience is fractured. And if he picks the wrong side, he loses his lifestyle revenue. So the marketer is packing up his crystals and quietly drifting back to the pop culture that he belonged to. That's Spencer Pratt with his goofy self. And then we have Marjorie Taylor Greene, the woman who was doing the absolute most in the halls of Congress. Jewish space lasers, harassing school shooting survivors, downplaying January 6th, defending every single wild, illegal, or unhinged thing that came out of the leadership's mouth. She was the loudest, most aggressive cheerleader in the entire arena. And how did that unshakable loyalty end for her? In complete toxic exile. After a massive internal fallout over the handling of healthcare subsidies and party records and the Epstein files, the president publicly labeled her a traitor to the movement and backed a primary challenger to systematically destroy her career. Faced with that humiliating defeat, Marjorie Taylor made a cynical, stunning calculation. She chose to jump ship before she was pushed out. She announced her resignation from Congress, effective January 5th. And let me tell you the real tea on the math there, okay? By staying until January 5th, she reached precisely 5 years and 3 days of congressional service. Why? Because under federal law, 5 years is the absolute bare minimum required to secure a taxpayer-funded congressional pension for life. Even in total political defeat, she made sure her hand was still in the pocket of the American people. Now that she's out, she's gone completely rogue, calling for the administration to be removed via the 25th Amendment and saying the whole party needs to be burned down. Marjorie Taylor, you can't be serious. You're the one who helped radicalize these people. Because make no mistake, the MAGA movement is radicalized. She helped turn American governance into a trashy reality show. And now she's surprised the audience turned on her. This is what happens when the grift stopped paying the bills. These were all grifters who got on the side of the right, conservatives, supposedly conservative, because you MAGA people are not conservative. John McCain and Mitt Romney, those are conservatives. You guys are just on a gravy. You guys are on some kind of goofy cult train. That's not conservatism. So let's zoom out for a second and really break down what we're looking at here, because this goes far deeper than these five people trying to save their careers. These people didn't just have a conservative disagreement with Democrats. They didn't just debate tax policy or states' rights. They made a conscious, calculated decision to make their entire brand about demonizing Black people, poor people, immigrants, and anybody who didn't bow down and worship at the altar of this goofy movement. They looked into the camera week after week, year after year, and told their audience that they were the ones who don't know us. We didn't take accountability. They told white working class Americans that us Democrats were the sole problem with this country. As far as I know, for the past two years, almost 2 years, we've been under the Republican rule. And we done went from at least a halfway decent country down to shitter within 2 years. That everything wrong in this life, everything, they made it seem as though everything that's wrong in your life, from your closing factory to your rising grocery bills and gas bills, was because of Black people or because of woke culture. God only knows what the fuck y'all mean by woke culture. Or because of diversity programs, or because of immigrants, or because of liberals. They've been telling y'all that for the past 9-10 years, and where the hell has that got y'all? They done weaponized the real economic pain of everyday people and turned it into a radical resentment. This is the resentment. This is the victim. This is the victim era. This must be the victim era, because all I understand is you conservative people act like y'all the victims of everything. The immigrants is taking our jobs. The immigrants is coming in the border. Black people are taking our jobs. Black people and their culture. All this bullshit, the grievance shit, victimhood shit. All these people platform literally white nationalists to give them a mainstream audience. They downplayed a violent attack on the U.S. Capitol, January 6th, downplayed it like it wasn't even important. They insulted our collective intelligence like we didn't see what the fuck we saw. They looked at black men and told them that the system wasn't rigged against them, that they were just being victims. No, you guys are being the victims. All while backing policies that dismantled voting rights, gutted health care from millions of Americans, and stripped funding and money from public schools. This is what the supposed conservative party has done to our country. Took away health care, took away voting rights, took away public schools, took away. You see, you notice it's you notice that it's taking everything away. It's not giving the middle class, it's gutting of the middle class. This is what this supposed conservative party has done. They've gutted the middle class. They have made it their business to gut the middle class. This past 2 years, they've made it their business to gut the middle class. And now that the economic realities are setting in, now that the foreign policy blunders are causing international crises, because that's what's happening, international blunders causing international crises. Now that the scandals are piling up so high you can't see over them, now that this president is grifting and making as much money behind the scenes from foreign investors as much as he can, the most money made by any president in American history, grifter, scammer, Trump. Now that the bulk of the American people are finally starting to see through his con, these 5 grifters, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Massie, MTG, Spencer Pratt, all of them goofies, liars, Megyn Kelly right along with them. They want to jump ship and act like they were just innocent bystanders. Megyn Kelly. Oh, I knew the president was a scammer. I just didn't know he was that much of a scammer. All of them knew that this president was stealing money from our government. All of them knew. You can tell by the way they talk. These people have access to all of these things. These people have access to reporters, people in the know, people in the White House, people, they know. They been knew that this administration was a scamming administration. And I hate to put it that way, but that's the way it is. These people knew. Okay. This is not principle. They have no principles. They have no moral. There's no courage for them jumping ship. That's the textbook definition of being a grifter. When you jump ship, when the program doesn't work anymore and you jump ship, that means you're a grifter. They rode that populist wave when it was making them rich and money, when it was getting them invited to the white shoe galas, when it was building their digital empire. Now that the wave is crashing hard against the fucking rocks of reality, they're frantically grabbing life jackets, jumping onto the water, swimming ashore, talking about, oh, I always had deep concerns about the direction we were going. Oh, I knew Trump was taking money. I knew he was trying to get his family rich. I knew all that. I just didn't know it was as bad as it was. Tucker Carlson. I kind of knew, but I'm sorry that I made people vote for him. I'm sorry. I didn't mean, I didn't know he was going to do what he did. Megyn Kelly. We knew he was taking money. We knew he was scamming the American people. We just didn't, I just didn't think he was going to do it like that. All these people knew that this administration, that this president, that he's a scammer, that he was only enriching himself, that he only cared about himself, that there was no such thing as an American first. It was a stick telling you that immigrants are taking over your job, telling you that everything is a war zone, and they're trying to take over your world, and we got to turn it back into this and that, and you got to pull back. I could tell from his speech, the first speech that he made to the American public, that he was going to be scamming you. Oh, this country has went to hell in a handbasket. We got 1 million immigrants here, 1 million immigrants taking your jobs, 1 million immigrants doing this. We got to turn this nation white. We gotta get all these black people out of here. We got to get all these immigrants out of here. I knew it was a scam the minute he kept saying it. Because that wasn't the America that I experienced. And these 5 grifters, all of those people, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Marjorie Taylor Greene, all of them know it. All of them know that this president scammed the American people. He scammed as many as he could, because whoever voted for him, he scammed y'all. He didn't scam me, because I knew what he was about when he's talking. Okay. They rode that wave to make them rich. Just go back a year from now and listen to Megyn Kelly, and then listen to her for the past month or two. You see the way the wind is blowing. You see the way the water is going. Tucker Carlson, listen to Tucker Carlson a year ago, and listen to him the past 2 months. Oh, I'm sorry I made y'all. I'm sorry that I regret that I got y'all to vote for Donald Trump. I knew, but I didn't know. I was hoping that he was going to be good. I was hoping. We knew from the first term that this president was scamming. We knew from the first term. Y'all knew. These 5 people knew. They have damaged the fabric of this community, of this country. They have helped to damage the fabric of this country. They divided families. They divided this country. They helped to divide this country. This president helped to divide this country. He was a big factor in dividing this country. My concern is that people have been radicalized beyond repair. They've made it acceptable. This administration, these people have made it acceptable to be cruel and try to call out truth telling, but they don't. And all of these people are going through a rebrand, a new podcast. Tucker Carlson got fired for lying on Fox News about the voting machines, because Tucker Carlson knows that there is no voter fraud in this country. And he got fired because he lied about voter fraud in this country. That's why Tucker Carlson got fired from Fox News. Because he was spreading conspiracy lies about voter fraud. They know there's no such thing as voter fraud in this country. Not to a big extent. And they're the ones who do the surveys about voter fraud. The president even had a commission put together about voter fraud. And his commission came back and told him there's no such thing as voter fraud. Not a significant degree. And yet he's got people out here, he's got goofies out here talking about the Save America Act, because he wants to steal elections, because he knows Republican policies are unpopular because they don't help the American people. To every single one of these grifters, Candace, Tucker, Massie, Megyn, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and the whole circus of influencers trailing right behind them. The black community has been watching this entire time. We saw y'all. We know y'all. We heard every insult that you made. We decoded every single dog whistle, and we documented every single lie. You do not get to cash out your chips, walk away from the table, and rebrand yourself as the reasonable and independent voices of moderation. All of them are liars. You heard it here. All of them are liars. History is going to excuse me. History is going to remember exactly who was holding the match when the fire was being lit in this country. So they can jump ship if they want to. They can try to rewrite their Wikipedia pages, try to convince new audiences they were the secret resistance against this administration the whole time, but they're lying. But we all know the truth. And to my people watching right now, don't you dare fall for that new grift that Megyn Kelly is putting out, that Tucker Carlson is putting out. That was a big ass U-turn that Tucker Carlson made. Because this is the new con. This is the new grift. They understand the way the direction the country is going. The way the direction the country is going is not to the right. We're not going to the right. They understand it. That's why they're jumping off that train. Whether it's coming from coming from the left and the right or the deep fringes of this country, when somebody makes their money off tearing people down and then tries to switch sides the minute it becomes financially convenient, you need to keep that exact same energy. You need to understand what they're doing. Don't get them your grade. Don't get them the news, and don't get them the forgiveness until they account for the damage that they did. Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Megyn Kelly, Marjorie Taylor Greene did real damage to this country. They have helped lead this country down this path that we have gotten to. They knew that this was a scam from day one. It was a money grab. You just have to go through the people in the cabinet to see how they're making money and taking the American taxpayers' money, to understand the true grift. But these people understand exactly the true grift. They hang out with these people. Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, they hang out with all these people. So they understand what's going on. They're just not telling you. If you're in their audience, they're not going to tell you. They're just going to swing the other way. Oh, I knew, honey. I knew that he was scamming people out of money. I just didn't understand. I just didn't believe it was going to be like that. Megyn Kelly. I just didn't believe it was going to be like that. I just didn't know it was like that. I didn't know it was so bad. Yes, she did know. And they all know. They all knew. But they don't want to lose their audience and they don't want to lose their base. So they're going to pretend like they don't understand what's going on. They're going to pretend like they don't see the corruption. They don't know that it was corrupt from day one. Megyn Kelly, go listen to her interview with those two twins. She'll tell you, oh, well, we knew he was kind of corrupt in his first administration. We knew this right-wing thing was just a play. We knew that in the first term of Donald Trump. We just didn't know it was going to get this bad. You can't believe a thing they say because they get their talking points every week from the White House. They get on a phone call. They all get on a phone call and they talk about what they're going to say this week. And how much money we're going to pay you this week. How much you get paid. You say this, you get paid more money. You do this, you get paid more money. The grift is real. The grift is real. And those 5 people, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she jumped off that ship real quick because she saw what time it was. But she made sure she got a parachute before she left. If you like my content and you like my commentary, please put a like, share, and subscribe. Please put like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next video, probably this evening. Well, we'll talk about something this evening. Who knows? But I'd appreciate the like and the share. Please hit all of those buttons, and I will see you in the next video. I will see you in the next video. And I appreciate all of you guys showing up. Appreciate